and welcome to the House of War. Today on Breaking Chains, we have a very special edition for you. We know even without having COVID-19, having intentional time with loved ones can be difficult. So we have 3 different couples sharing different ways in which you can spend intentional time together without leaving the house. For our first video, Shelby and Chris have sent in a video about having an intentional conversation.
Hi Angel! My name is Chris and this is my wife,
Shelby.
And we both work together for Women at Risk International. We are call center representatives. So if you wanted to book an online party, this is who you'd be talking to, more than likely. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, please give us a call. It's a great way to support these women during this time, especially during the quarantine when we can't do pop-up boutiques. So
and it's so easy to host one.
Yeah, so that's our little plug. So tonight we are going to have our date night in. Forgot my tea here. For our date night in, we are going to be answering questions to spark great conversations. So these cards you can get at the boutique, the Women at Risk boutique. And yeah, we're going to be going through some of those, and it's a great way to strike up conversations with people and get to know them. There's some fun questions and there's some more serious questions too. So we're going to be doing that right now. So you want to start?
Yeah. Okay. If you could have more education, what would you get it in?
I would probably get more education in filmmaking. That's something I'm really interested in and enjoy. Or anything art related.
Oh yeah.
Do enjoy art.
Yes.
So, yes.
Can you study gymnastics in college? Because then you could go for gymnastics.
Probably.
Fulfill that dream.
Yeah. How about you?
I would do so many things. I would do like languages, like Spanish. I would do nursing and theater and I don't know, a ton of stuff. Maybe like culinary stuff. There's so many fun things to learn.
I feel like that's what happens when people go to school because they want to do so many things and study so many things.
And then they can't decide.
They can't decide and they end up like switching a lot.
Yep.
But, yeah. Okay.
That's a
cool.
good one.
Excuse my cough. All right. Next one. Where would you live if you could have 4 houses? Ooh.
Okay, it's so hard to narrow down. So hard. Okay, see, like practically I would think, one in Nebraska to be near your family, one in Michigan to be near mine, but then also like, then I'm like missing out on 2 houses in amazing locations. But, okay, but then the other 2 would be one near Orlando, and I'd get the annual passes and go to Wizarding World of Harry Potter and Disney World like all the time. And then another in New Zealand, near Hobbiton, and we could do like climbing and hiking and surfing. Yeah, what about you?
Probably really similar.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd want a home in Nebraska where I grew up, but it would make sense to be closer to my family. Michigan, obviously, it's beautiful and we'd be closer to your family.
Yeah.
So I'd have to agree on that.
Yeah.
And New Zealand, I definitely have to agree on that too because it's gorgeous. And maybe another in Alaska.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but also I like Orlando, so I mean, and we're married, so it makes sense.
Oh my gosh, you get to choose 4 houses and I get to choose 4 houses.
Wait, so we can do different locations, so we have 8 houses.
Yes, just like when we like get food at a restaurant and you get one thing, I get one thing, and we share them.
Well, in that case, Asia, somewhere, maybe like Burma.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe somewhere in Europe, I don't know.
Yes! Oh, I like it.
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. Do you have a relationship where you can be completely honest?
I would like to say yes. With each other, yes, for
yeah,
sure.
exactly, with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, not like I lie in my other relationships, but like, we're really vulnerable with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to be.
Yeah.
We need to be.
Yeah.
That's very key in a relationship.
Exactly, yeah. And I feel like that's, like, something everyone always says, too, is, like, communication is most important in a relationship, but, like, that's been so true for us, like, from the beginning of our relationship. Like, we've been super vulnerable. Like, even before we were dating, we were, like, so open and honest and, like, shared everything.
Right.
And so, like, even when we were like transitioning into marriage, like it wasn't even like a transition. Like it was just so easy because we were already so vulnerable with each other, just so open and honest.
Yeah.
And like we live in a camper van.
Right now we're in a hotel because we're
Yeah.
getting mechanical work on, but like we live in a super tiny space, so we're constantly with each other.
Yes.
So there's no secrets.
Yeah. Like, and we have been for like a year and a half, and people will tell us like, oh, I could never do that because like I would kill my spouse if I was with them 24/7 in that small space. But we don't feel that way at all. Like we still love being together.
Yeah.
And like we don't have kids yet, so obviously we're at an easier stage right now where it's just the two of us. It's simpler, but I feel like if that thing between us ever changed, like this vulnerability and this openness, like we have conflict, but we talk through it.
Yeah.
Like
We're not perfect by any means,
No,
but
like-
yeah, it's so important to talk through
Yes.
things because bitterness will build up, and then it
Yeah.
just you have to talk through it, and
Yeah.
honesty is the best way,
yeah.
so that it doesn't bloom into something way worse.
Yeah, like letting things fester, and like if we ever stopped like being so vulnerable and so like honest and talking through everything, not hiding anything, like sharing everything, like I think if we stopped doing that, if we started like letting things like fester and hiding things, like it would be poisonous, you
Yeah.
know, like this, what we have is really healthy. So, and you have to be purposeful about it, obviously, but
Yeah.
I guess it's just been easy because we've always been that way from the beginning, so it's what we do now. So
Right.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
a blessing.
Yeah.
It's a I mean, we're blessed that like we get along so well too, and we're best friends.
Yeah.
But
You have to be best friends if you're gonna live in a van.
I know. But yeah. But I guess if anyone like was actually like struggling with starting that, like I don't know like what people's marriages are like that are watching this, or what their relationship with their kids or their parents or their friends are like, if there's any places where they're not being vulnerable, like maybe these cards would be a good place to start.
Yeah, definitely. You might learn something about the other one that you didn't know about.
Yes. Or it could like open up a new conversation, and because like we did some lighthearted ones, but there's some deep ones.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah. The one I really wanted to do was the wrestler name one. Because I have a wrestler name picked out.
All right, what would your wrestler name be?
Princess Pizza Pants.
Yeah.
And I would have pants with pizza.
All right, well, maybe I'll get that for your birthday or something.
Yes, they make them. They make pants with pizza slices.
You looked into this. She's planned this out. Oh, goodness.
And a crown.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, goodness.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Oh yeah.
Hope you got some insight into our life, even though you may not have wanted to. But yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Angel.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you, Shelby and Chris, for that wonderful video and the great usage of the conversational cards. I know Becky and Phil also use them. Phil holds a PhD from Michigan State University in International Development and is the CEO of LEAD Incorporated. Rebecca is the founder and CEO of Women at Risk International. As a family, they raised 4 kids in the developing world, and they know the unique challenges of marriage, family, careers, business, and social entrepreneurship in a diverse and dangerous settings. Today, we've asked them to give us a sneak peek into the world of the couple that live, work, and breathe together. Next is a short video where Becky and Phil reminisce about some of their wonderful date nights.
So apparently we're on a date. I don't really think this is a date, but
Of course it's a date. Every day is a date with you. Come on.
our kids joke that we've been married 75 years. We're not even 75 years old, but because we've lived life 24/7 together,
Work together. Yep.
it's as if we've been married forever.
Yep.
But today, while we're in the middle of quarantine, we are inviting you to think about a date night or a date day with people you love. This week we had s'mores. That's pretty pathetic when 2 60-year-olds have to have s'mores for a date.
Hey, it worked.
Well, But take some of our ideas and use them with your best friend, with a child in your home, and with someone you love. But my goal is that you dig deep and you take this opportunity. This to me is a golden opportunity to spend quality time, not quantity time. And so whether it's with your children or your grandchildren or your spouse or a friend, you know, now we can go to parks again in Michigan. And I remember when my kids were little and I would pick them up from school one by one and take them out of school and have a date day with them. And we would go to McDonald's and we would buy a Happy Meal and we'd find a park that had a bridge with, you know, bridges have trolls that live under them. And we would sit on the bridge and we would swing our feet and I would sing, I'm a troll, foldy roll, and I'm going to eat you for supper. And we would throw French fries and see if the troll would come out. But seriously, just igniting that fantasy in your children. If you're like me and you had, or us, I should say us,
Thank you.
Takes two. And you have 3 boys that needed rewarding all the time and prompts to do their chores and their homework, and then you had a girl who just did everything without being told, you need to do a date with that one kid that doesn't get rewarded, kind of like the prodigal son's brother, right? And do a date with them and tell them that. I remember one time I took our daughter on a date all the way to New York City on frequent flyer points to see Lion King with me at Broadway, because this was a kid who never had to be cajoled into doing the right thing. One of our 7 grandkids just got diagnosed a couple weeks ago with leukemia, and she made a date night list for her dad, who's stuck at home with her, and of all the things she wanted to do, what movies she wanted to watch with him, and it was just adorable. Your kids can do that. And okay, so back to you and me.
Okay.
I know that conversations can be hard. Oddly, digging deep is harder than you think. And so war has done something about that. And so for years, I carried a worn and tattered card in my purse. And I got so many requests for copies of it that we finally created a deck of cards that you can actually buy. And in it is a little card that says this first: a worn and tattered question card hides in my purse, a secret weapon to get past the fluff and fog of superficial conversations, wanting to know what makes you tick, not what car you drive or what dress you wear. You don't wear dresses, but I jump right in with, if you could not fail at something, what would you attempt?
If I could not fail at anything?
What would you try?
Oh, I would try to do that flying with those flying suits where you jump off a cliff and you just, like a web suit, and you just fly.
Ick.
You know.
Well, anyway, bingo.
What's wrong with that? That's
If
flying.
you knew you couldn't fail, it'd be fine. You wouldn't die.
Yeah, if you failed, you wouldn't live. So.
Right. I would want to know how to play the piano without practicing. But bingo, I start to see your heart, your dreams, and what you call fun. I begin hearing who you really are, the person I want to know with all my heart, spend time with, cry with, laugh with. So this packet is a tool to be that circle of protection. If we were sipping tea with Jesus, his questions would blow us away, wouldn't
Absolutely,
they?
sure.
He would not waste time, and he would skip the fluff where there are dreams, hurts, joys, and great adventures waiting to happen. So enjoy.
I like
so
that.
I'm going to ask you some questions.
Oh
from
boy,
this
here we go.
Deck.
Here we go.
Our kids are used to this. We used to have them on slips of paper, and we'd ask them every Sunday on Sunday dinner, and they'd hide them from me.
Yeah, I remember that.
If you could have more education, oh, Dr. Phil, this is a bad one for you. What would you get it in?
I'd probably get a law degree because
Oh, never mind, that's boring. Let's go to the
that is
next one.
boring. You're right.
Describe your favorite meal.
Favorite meal? Well, first of all, we got to discuss meals. I only eat one meal a day, all day long.
Okay,
and so
remember
I'll
that.
eat anything all day long.
Do you have a relationship where you can be completely honest?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who?
With you.
Oh, okay, I agree with that one. What is one food you never want to taste again?
Oh, by far, baboon meat. Trust me, don't try baboon meat. It's just really bad. It's
I
nasty.
remember you telling me you ate a live
Yeah,
That
I did
sounds
that.
like the
That was
worst.
pretty gross. You had to crunch on the thing to kill it before you swallowed it, and then you had to make sure it died before you swallowed
They
it.
were
So
for
when-
sale in Africa?
No, somebody just asked me if I would try it.
Ew. But you said it tasted like peanut butter.
It was because most of them were fried in peanut oil.
Oh.
This one happened to be alive. He didn't make it, so.
Oh, ick. Okay, what were the rules in your house growing up?
We didn't have any rules.
That's
growing up.
exactly right. Because the first fight we ever had,
Yeah, I
we've
remember.
been married for what, 6, 7 years before we had a real fight, and it was
Yeah.
over our kids.
Yeah, how to discipline kids. Yeah,
Because I
remember
had
that.
rules and you had
Oh,
none.
did you have rules? My goodness.
All right, never mind. Describe a time when you felt completely safe.
Completely safe. Boy. I think the time in the Philippines where we had an altercation with our neighbor who kept stealing our water, when a captain buddy of mine from the cantonment drove a tank down into our subdivision and came around to our neighbor's house and just lined that turret up with that house and told him to turn the water off. That's probably the safest.
They
thing
were
I thought.
stealing our water and
Yep.
electricity.
Didn't have any problems after that. You know,
In
kept
fact,
the
I
military on
remember
your side.
I first discovered they were stealing our water when I was in the shower and I'd lathered my hair up in soap, and then the water stopped.
Oh, that was the day it did it. That just did it. Because you came out on the balcony and you had the soapy hair, and these guys were laughing at you. And I said, "That's it. I'm calling the captain."
I would say a time I felt completely safe. Of course, you know, our mission at war is to be the circle of protection, the safest place on earth. I think when I got married.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, if you could invite to dinner anyone in history, current, past, who would you pick?
Probably Abraham Lincoln, for all the trials he went through and still came out victorious. That kind of courage and stamina was just amazing.
He's the man who said, mercy bears much richer fruit than strict justice. And
Yeah.
when you're in a social justice world like I am,
Yeah.
you learn the power of mercy. Sometimes mercy is way more potent
Yep.
than justice. I would definitely invite, first of all, Osama bin Laden's 4 wives. Definitely. I would love to have time with them.
Huh.
And, okay, next. If you had a day to do anything, regardless of the cost, so it's just a dream, don't get all logistical on me, what would you do?
You're talking about taking you on a date?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or, well, just a day to do anything. Doesn't. Okay,
I'd make it
a
an
day.
all-day date, and what I'd do is have a helicopter come and pick us up. Our front yard's too small, so it'd probably have to be in a street. Pick us up, take us to the airport, get on a corporate jet, fly to a major city, get out of the airport, get on a helicopter, go to a hotel roof, go to a private dining room, and we'd have dinner, and then fly back.
Oh, I like that. I don't know what I would do if I
And
had.
trust
a
me, don't
day.
ever fly a corporate jet if you don't have to, because it will spoil you for life.
I've never been in one, but you were in one once, right?
Yep. You get out of the car, go to the plane that comes out of the hangar. You fly to Nebraska. You spend a couple hours. You fly back in time for supper. You get out, get in your car, and you go home. It's amazing. Yeah, don't do it.
You did it once.
Just once. I wished I hadn't.
Why couldn't we have dinner on that plane? That sounds kind of romantic.
Oh, we could, but I just like the idea of landing on a hotel roof in a helicopter and walking to a private dining room. I think that's pretty romantic.
Okay, if you were a crayon, a coloring crayon, what color would you be?
I think I'd be blue. I like blue because it's an outdoor color. The lakes and oceans are blue, the sky is blue, and I just like blue. Yeah.
What colored guess? What do you think I'd be? I already know my answer.
Well, let's see. I think you like red.
Oh, why?
It's bright and dazzling and sparkly like you, and
Okay, I think it's warm
Yeah, it's actually-
and passionate like fire. Okay. What color do you think our oldest son would be?
I would venture to say green.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, he's always growing people and dreams and yes.
Never thought of that.
It's a
but-
good one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think we should ask all our grandchildren to tell us what color they think their parents are.
That's an excellent idea.
Then
I
we'll
like
know
that.
what they think
I
of
like
them.
that. Yeah.
That's a sneaky way. If you say to them, what do you think of your parents? They'll be like, dude, go away.
Right.
But if we asked them, what color is your mom and why?
Do it. I like
yeah,
it.
I like that.
Yep.
Okay, remind me tonight or I'll forget.
All right.
This is my last question. I just picked some out of the pack. What is one word you'd use to describe yourself and why?
Well, that's rough. If it had to be one word, I always thought of myself disciplined, but I think if there's only one word, I would say adventuresome. I love adventure. I'm not an adrenaline junkie. I'm an adventure seeker. Big difference psychologically. I just like new adventures. I like
Well,
things
that's
new.
what you wrote about in this book, isn't it?
Yep, 90
Unreal.
stories, 60 lessons from over 30 years. of
Stalked
working
by
overseas.
lions, charged by rhinos, chased by pirates, all of that good stuff while we were doing what we do. All right, well, back to today. I want to do two things
Okay.
on the stage. I want to ask you those questions, which I did, and I want to take you and I want to let our listeners go on some of our dates from around the world and behind closed doors. And I'm not gonna, this isn't gonna get weird.
No, thank you.
But do we do the funny ones or awesome ones, or both?
Both. Let's do
Okay.
both.
Well, do you remember the time you took me to a fancy restaurant and for an anniversary, and there was a rat the size of a cat
Yeah, sewer rat. Yep.
that ran under my feet?
Yeah, I went under our table. I remember because this incredible china on top of the table, and this rat's tail was underneath there. You kind of freaked out. I chased the rat to another
I jumped
table,
up on my chair.
and the waiter didn't seem to care, and I didn't either, so we just went ahead.
We were in a diplomat's home that I went to boarding school with, and a little teeny tiny mouse came, and he and I, who grew up in Pakistan, jumped up on the couch
Yeah.
while you, the American, and Fiona, the Scottish, his wife,
Yep.
killed that mouse.
Yeah, she had a broom, and she chased the mouse towards me, and I jumped and stomped on it.
Ew.
And you guys were up there on the couch.
I know.
Scaredy cats. Oh, what's up with that?
Quarantine reminds me of the dates we used to have overseas in our bedroom because
Yes.
the bedroom was the only air-conditioned place.
I remember that. Several
And,
houses.
Yep, I would set up, it was 100 degrees, and we would set up, in fact, we even had our boss and his wife to dinner in our bedroom at a table set for 4 because it was the only AC place
it
we
was
put our
really-
kids to bed.
It was very hot. I remember
Yep.
that.
In
Tropic.
fact, we should have had some of these lighted flowers for that, right?
I don't know about that. That's fine.
Well, the candles kind of made it hot, but
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. Sure.
I remember a date at the Chin Lung.
Oh, I love the Chin Lung. Chin Lung in Bangladesh was this open air, second floor, open air restaurant. So while you're eating, crows and birds are flying through.
And stealing your food.
Yeah, if you turned your back, your French fry would just disappear. I mean, actually, it was Chinese food, I guess it was. Here.
I remember one time with board members at a 5-star setting at a swimming pool, and there was an iguana under my table, under my chair, trying to get our
They were
food.
in lounge chairs. I remember that.
And I jumped up on the chair and screamed, and my board member yelled to everybody there,
Around the pool, I remember that.
"She fights traffickers and the Taliban, and she's afraid of a lizard." But this lizard was enormous and had scales
What's
and
that?
was,
It's only 3 or 4 feet long.
oh.
I mean,
Anyway,
there are bigger lizards
she
than
made a
that.
scene. I remember a date by the waterfall.
Oh yeah, that was on the shore of Bangladesh. We drove up the sandy beach into this tidal inlet, went back inland, and there was this incredible waterfall and pool, and we had a lunch there.
We had a picnic and we swam. And right now with quarantine, I think people should have a date with themselves and just go sit in that tub that you never get. Use some of our bath bombs, some of our soaps, some of our lotions. This one here, it says body butter. I don't know what that means because I've never used body butter. But this one I think I need, it's called De-Stress and it's lotion. Here's some beard oil.
Yeah, exactly.
Called
what I-
sandalwood. That sounds really good. I like that thought of that. Probably one of my favorite memories is when we were at the pyramids
Oh.
with our 2 kids
Yes.
and our daughter sang.
I'll never forget. We were in this restaurant, had these huge windows. The sun was going down between the pyramids. The pyramids were black at that point because they're like silhouetted. And she got up and sang a duet with the entertainer there, the Egyptian entertainer, of a classic song, and the place was packed.
Sunset,
It was like,
stars.
it was unreal, just like a dream. And it was one of the favorite memories of Egypt.
Egypt was really fun. We drove around in a car with a guy who had never driven before, and we didn't know it.
Yeah, that was kind of scary.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And our two kids were playing yellow car, you know, so they'd punch each other whenever they saw a yellow car.
Yeah.
And he thought that was so funny. He'd never heard of that.
Yeah, he didn't know how to drive, and he's looking in the rearview mirror at the kids in the back seat doing that, and I'm worried about him crashing.
Well, there's yellow cars everywhere because their taxis are yellow.
That's true.
And that was Hani, and that's all of these gorgeous ornaments. And you love globes. We have way too many in our house.
Well, been around the world 80
this
times.
is just hand blown with 14 karat gold, and it makes a great Father's Day gift, I think.
They can make one of these in about 60 seconds. It's amazing
Oh, it
to
takes
watch.
to blow it, yeah.
To blow
but then
it,
they
yeah.
have to etch this.
Oh, but to etch it and to paint
they have
it,
to
you know, that
paint
takes
it,
hours.
And that's just beautiful. We have so many beautiful Egyptian products. Remember the date at the hotel in India, and I went to find the women's restroom, and a peacock was wandering around.
Yeah, that peacock.
Like it owned the place.
It did. They went right down the hall, and went right into the bathroom, if I remember right, following you.
Sure beats our first date. Remember our first date?
Yeah, I remember our first date.
At Bill Knapp's.
Bill Knapp's,
How
28th Street,
pathetic.
Grand Rapids.
That's
yeah,
just
out
really
by
not romantic.
By the mall. It wasn't. Sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't very impressive.
But you know, over the years, I
Oh, you
actually
made up for
yeah,
it.
I did. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
No, I did.
Your love language makes up for it.
Yep.
Your acts of service. Yep. You have brought me breakfast in bed ever since we got married. What is it, 40 years ago?
42 years,
Oh.
10 months, 29 days. Well, it'll be 30 days at 3 o'clock this afternoon. We got a couple more hours.
And you always start the cars for us. And Danny and I, we'd go out to our cars in the
wintertime,
morning,
yeah.
and you wouldn't even tell us, the car would just be
I never
started.
thought of you guys getting into a cold car or brushing the snow off. I thought I could do that.
You're not really good at gifts, though, right?
No, I struggle in that area.
Well, War tries to help with that for men. We had two men walk into our store one time, and it said War, and they thought we were a gun and ammo store.
Yeah.
And we said no, but we talked them into buying pearls for their wives. But you brought me a frog once.
Yeah, it was a gift. That was kind of a dumb gift, but I thought I saw it on the streets of Bangkok, and I don't know, I paid for it. I just think it's cool. Doesn't that sound like a real frog? I mean, it's a wooden frog. They carve and hollow that thing out. And I thought, and she laughed. She laughed.
But it's one of our best sellers.
Huh, don't
So
forget
it
that.
makes a great gift
did
for a
it.
kid.
I
If you
found
give
it.
it to a kid, you got to tell them to name it, though.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? For those people who don't know how to shop for their family, we now have a wish list where they can go online and they can fill out a wish list. So I'm going to have my daughter-in-laws do that. And then I can shop for them based on what they like, because I never know for sure what they like or don't like.
Cool. Like it.
Also, do you remember when we first got married, we had once a month gripe sessions as a date?
Do I remember? Yes.
What was your idea? So we would go to a restaurant.
Once a
Back in
month.
the day, it was Mr. Steak,
Yep.
which we were
Friday nights, I remember,
both in
once a
grad
month.
school, and you were getting your doctorate.
We
and
saved up all month to be able to go
We
out
were
to
both
eat.
working part-time, and we had no money, but we knew, I mean, we've never, ever raised our voices at each other. But
Really?
we didn't know each other that well then. And so we would
No.
go to a restaurant,
Yep.
and we would make a list the whole month of all the things that bothered us.
Yep. And we talked about them. I remember.
And it meant that we shared it not in the heat of the moment,
Right.
but it didn't work. Do you remember why?
No, that was a long time ago.
Because I always had a list this long, and you'd always say, "I love you just the way you are."
I wanted to say that. Your list was longer. I remember that than mine, but
You had no list. It wasn't fair. I had lots of things. The good thing was, though, by the time a month had gone by, it was like, "Oh, I don't need to say that. I don't need to say that. I don't need to."
we
Or,
should have done it 2 months.
all right, that didn't really work, but it worked for a while.
It worked for our
Now-
first year.
Yeah. Now we're not afraid. But we never let the sun go down on our wrath, did
Nope.
we?
Nope.
No. Why? Because of me.
Yep, you're not wired that way. Yep, you'll be awake all night.
I will. I'll be madder than a hornet by
I'll
morning.
hear about it in the morning, right? So,
Yep.
yeah, I think we did that once, and I learned my lesson.
Yeah,
And
I
so,
turned
yeah.
a mountain into a molehill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to keep short accounts.
Remember that, men. Go to husband school. Remember that. Keep short accounts. Lesson number 1.
This brings up something I want to close with. During this time of quarantine, many of my friends are in the medical healthcare world, and they've been telling me that the rate of suicide and depression and confusion is escalating. And, you know, I've received more 911 calls since shutdown than before, even at my home phone. So first of all, you know, when you think about the world, it comes to a screeching halt, but our mission doesn't.
Yep.
And we are here for you, and we want to encourage you to use this time to refresh, regroup, refocus, and renew what is truly important. Family is our most important treasure on this earth.
That's right.
And so dig deep into those relationships. Invest in them because you don't want them to go bankrupt. Those relationships are eternal, and they need to stand the test of time.
That's right.
Because they are the things that matter. Your savings account, meh, but people, that's a different story.
Yep.
People, colleagues, even church family, they come and go, but family doesn't, or at least they shouldn't. And so if you're alone, reach out.
Yes.
In fact, if you can't reach out with your hands, reach out with your heart. So I'm reaching out to you with my heart, and I thank God for Zoom. I can see my kids and grandkids all the time now.
Yep.
And I know people my age aren't big into that, but it was easy enough to learn. It's like Skyping everybody at the same time.
Right.
But spend quality time during your quantity time with those that you are shut in with. And if you're alone, join us on Breaking Chains. Join us Wednesday nights at 7:30. We Zoom every Wednesday night now and just talk with you. And we want to hear from you. We want to share with you. We want to be your circle of protection. And we will help you with the technical assistance, because if you're not used to it, it's, you know, a tiny learning curve. And we want to be there for you. We will do the hard lifting, the heavy lifting, because we want to be there for you. You are not alone. Women at Risk International is here for you as your circle of protection. So call us. We want to hear from you.
How exciting to have such an adventurous life. Next, Keith and Bethany sent us in a video about having an intentional meal together. Take a look.
Hi Warriors, I'm joining you tonight from my very own kitchen, and I am making a yummy dinner tonight with stovetop finished pot roast and some asparagus and green beans, so my fiance and I can have a really yummy, a little bit fancier dinner at home during this quarantine, so we can still make it feel like a date night even though it's at home. And to help me while I'm cooking, like I do at most meals that I cook at home, I love wearing this apron here that is from War, and it's part of our Remembrance collection, which all the items in this collection, like our aprons, scarves, and DAP kits and cosmetic bags, they all feature names, ages, and countries of survivors that Women at Risk has directly helped escape trafficking or at-risk situations, and they're now survivors and they're thriving all across the world. So it's a really cool kitchen accessory that's also very functional. I love the deep pockets, and I also love all of the leather details and the adjustments on all the straps. So really fun accessory to have as I'm preparing date night here at home. All right, so dinner's done and we're kicking off date night. Cheers with our fun little mugs that we're repurposing for water glasses tonight. These are our fun little Mr. and Mrs. mugs that we really like, even though it's not official yet. It will be in a couple short months. So we also have our lighted flowers there in the corner to kind of create a little bit more of a romantic ambiance, and one of the candles that's made at the USDC by the awesome women in that program too. So Keith, what do you think about trying to have date night at home, since we can't go out and have like a traditional date night during the stay-at-home order?
Well, it's just been nice to spend quality time with you and have some delicious meals, and feel like we've been experimenting with our food, and it's just nice to have some of the accessories from War too to help spice up our night.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to eating. Definitely hungry now that I've been smelling it and everything. But it's fun too to think about the extras that we have at War. You know, we have a lot more than just like jewelry and scarves and things like that. It's fun to think about the home stuff that we have too, and definitely looks great. This is one of our brand new scarves. It's not even available online yet, but it's fun to repurpose that. And yeah, and just create like a fun new little space, even though we're still at my home. You know, obviously can't go out to restaurants or anything like that, so it's kind of fun to create something at home just a little different from the usual. So check out our home accessories, and hope you guys can have a fun date night at home yourselves.
Well, thank you very much for all three couples for sharing how they love in the time of COVID-19. And thank you all for joining us on Breaking Chains today. So remember, now we need you to do your part. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and then remember to share and comment on Facebook that you shared to be entered into the drawing for a pack of conversational cards and also some lotion. So from our house to yours, this means War.